My brother, my
What
brother.
up?
How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Oh man, I'm amazing today. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Somebody talking about
Okay.
yes. What's going on? How's New York treating you right now?
New York is all right. I mean, I'm in chill mode right now. A lot of people don't realize I've worked hard all my life. So when people are like, "What are you doing?" and "How do you spend your time?" I spend my time doing nothing,
Yes.
and I'm
Look,
all
you're
right with
supposed to
that.
do that.
And I am okay.
That is all right, brother. I know when you worked hard for something, you can take a little time and relax. You're supposed to have both sides of it. It's not all just working hard and pumping stuff out. It's actually taking time for yourself. And
Yeah,
but you have been doing some stuff too, because you got your YouTube show that you're still. No,
I haven't been doing it though.
you took a
I
pause.
haven't. I took a pause. Well, it was live interviews, and when people started doing this format where
Yeah,
everyone was doing Instagram lives, that was such a phenomenon
it
that
still
I felt
is.
like I will let everyone do what they're doing because I enjoyed the edited aspect of it. I
Ah,
enjoyed
yeah,
um, having pictures to bring forth references to show prior work, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm chill, but I am preparing to try to get some new ones together
all
now
right.
that we can social distance and all that kind of stuff. So that's the plan.
You're gonna do it outside like Super Soul Sunday and just
Yes, exactly. 6 feet apart, so
6 feet
Sunday.
apart.
Yes,
It
that's what's
works.
up.
Well, first of all, it is so amazing to see you, man. Like for
You
real,
too,
we haven't
likewise.
had a long heart to heart in a long, long time.
It's been, and
So
I've known you for a long, long time, actually. A long time.
really,
I've been in New
really
York for
long.
8 years. I knew you before I moved here.
Yes,
So at
Virginia
least like
days.
12 years, at least 10, 12 years. Yeah.
Clearly, clearly. And both of us have, I mean, we were both very ambitious, goal driven, very hardworking people. But so it's no surprise to see you doing so well now.
Well,
But knowing that, and you're welcome, but knowing that, what do you think has attributed to you being a three-time Emmy nominated hairstylist? Like what is the thing that's driving you behind everything else?
well, I'm gonna probably be very cliche, but it's really God because a lot of the stuff that has happened in my life was nothing that I ever planned. You know,
Mm,
I always knew that God had stuff for me. What that looked like, I did not know. I didn't have a preconceived notion of what that would look like. So a lot of the stuff that has happened has been like, oh, we're going in this direction. So
mm,
okay, but I have been very comfortable. I've learned in my time in church to that God has bigger dreams for you than you can dream for yourself a lot of
mm.
times. So
Yes.
I do go with that. That's my mantra to always just relax and let him guide you because he always knows how to. So
That is the truth. Where do you feel like you were going and God shifted it up a little bit?
well, I was in Virginia and I was a minister at my church. I for some reason thought I would do something big in hair, but I would stay in Virginia. I never
Mm,
imagined moving to New York. I had no intentions of moving to New York. I lived in LA for a year and hated that so much that I was like, when New York came across my path, I was like, no, thank you. I was like, no, thank you, because I lived in a 1 bedroom apartment with two
mm.
girls I lived on a mattress in the living room. So I was over all of
LA
that.
living. Yes.
Yeah. So when New York came, I feared that that would be the same situation, and so I was over it.
So what was the transition like for you once you arrived?
It was almost just that. The only difference was I was very adamant that I was not going to have roommates. And so I had an amazing friend. Her name was Marcia Hamilton. She was like, whatever we got to do to get you an apartment, we will, because we had already talked. We were doing work back and forth in New York
Mm,
anyway. We were already debating, me, her, and another guy, Lawrence Davis. That's a
mm.
hairstylist. We were going to go in half and get an apartment so
Yeah.
all of us had a space. And when we came to New York, we always had somewhere to stay. So she actually gave me the money to help get my apartment. And I got my apartment, and the guy that offered me a job that initially had me move here disappeared on me. So I was stuck in New York with no job.
I hate those. I hate those.
I was stuck in New York with no job. But once again, I was like, okay, God, you purposely want me here. So what? And, you know, because I could have I had clientele in Virginia. Right. I could have sublet that apartment and went back. But I knew that I just needed to possibly just get to New York. So I knew something was here for me. So I knew if I just made it through this season, that I would get to something better. So that was my holdout.
Well, I am glad. What's on your horizon next, as opposed to your work, your goals? What's on the horizon?
To be honest, I don't know. Like, I feel a shift in my life. I've always felt creative, and I never wanted to be. Like, I've always admired people like Diddy and people like Oprah that, though they have a lane, they have branched off from that a little bit and done other things. So I like my show. I want to do more producing. And on a larger scale, there are other ideas that I've always had and always wanted to work with. And I think it's funny because I didn't even want the job. I work at The View. I didn't always want that job. Like, that was not a job I went looking for. So it was ironic that God would place me in a place where it gives me an opportunity to look, listen, and learn and see how things work and how everything goes. So
how do you say you don't want to be on The View?
Well, it was because people don't understand television. People think television instantly makes money.
Right.
People think that if you do anything in television, you got bank. And that's not the case.
That is very true. That is not the case.
That is not the case. And even for us as hairstylists, people probably think I just sit around and just make money, but that's not at all my life. And so when that opportunity came, it was when my life as a freelancer was starting to pick up, and I was, starting to get more notoriety on a freelance level. And I was scared that committing to The View and being there every day, that I wouldn't be able to do other jobs.
Got it.
And you get pigeonholed. There's no creativity in television, and especially like a show like ours, where it's very political. They're not trying. They will send a note and say, "Oh, her hair was a little too glamorous today. We need you to tone it down." So it stumps your creativity to a degree. But I'm very grateful for it on other aspects of it too. And thankfully, I work with amazing women, so they let me push my bounds. Even though we might get smacked on the hand later, we push the bounds and we take the beat up later. So it's all good.
Well, whatever works, Well, I understand about the whole TV piece, and I get that. Especially having to be committed every day, Monday through Friday, right? Like, it's a whole process in and of itself. That's a little different, especially when you're freelance and you're doing things.
But the one thing that's the reason why I took that job was because when they offered me the job, I let them know those were some of my issues, as far as like, I don't want to take this job and be committed and have some amazing job come across my desk and I can't take it. And they were like, no, we definitely understand. And so if something comes, just let us know. We'll send somebody in and have them fill in for you whenever. So that's what made me take that job.
Come on, little clout. Come on.
Yes. I don't even know if it was clout, but well, you know what? Me and Raven was who I went there to work with, and we had an instant connection. We laughed every day, and it was just funny. It was like, I went there to test, where we're trying to see how our energy worked. And I get there, and the next thing I know, she's like, I'm there every day. They're just like, well, can you come tomorrow? Can you come tomorrow? Until it came to a point where it was like, you got the job. Do you want it? So that's basically how that happened.
Well, I know you're gonna rise either way, so that's all right. Let's
Oh,
talk. Yeah, you will. You will. I know that. So what? Let's go ahead because you know what the show is about. I always like to
yeah.
give the people a time up front to talk about who you are, what you do. But the goal of this show, really, the heart, is to get to the heart of things when it comes to love and success. We've hit a little bit about the success piece, but let's jump into how your success has either helped or hindered your love life.
It hasn't helped or hindered. It hasn't affected it at all, to be honest. Ironically, I don't have, to be honest, I don't even really have a love life. Uh, I have always been, well, I lived in a very small area where, for most of my life, outside of living in LA, but when I was in LA, I was so on a hustle that that was such a tedious time. I was broke, so you ain't trying to date. And so moving back to Virginia, when I was in church, I was so focused on the ministry and all of
Right.
that stuff. So
I know how that goes.
that wasn't an issue. And now, even living here in New York, I moved here late in life. I didn't move here when I was like 20 some years old, so where I was very influenced. I'm old. So so when I moved here, I already had what I ain't doing, what I am doing, who I like, who I don't like, and what is not going to happen. So because I'm not the typical New Yorker, I find it hard to connect with a lot of people here. So to be honest, success really hasn't, because I'm one of those people. I'm very good at separating stuff. You know what I'm saying? And like what is what and what is what. And I'm very good. Thank God. God gave me a very good sense of discernment. So whether it be friendships or whoever, I'm very clear on listening and paying attention to why people are in my life, what their intentions are.
That's good.
The Bible says, out of the heart, the mouth will speak. And if you listen to people, you just let people talk, they'll hang themselves.
Absolutely.
And so
good, brother.
what their interest is in you, you know what I'm saying? That, like, oh, if they talk about what I do a lot, you know what I'm saying? Then I know they don't care. If they talk about Whoopi, or if they talk about, whoever, whatever, these are signs that I know, like, okay, well, and it could be you just have a love for them as an artist or whatever, and you're interested. But I listen to it and I see how you react to it. And and so I pace myself. So, yeah. So, and that's friendship. That's people. That's not like old relationship. That's people, friendships, and anything. And a lot of my friends have been vetted. You know what I'm saying?
Time and energy, yes.
Listen, I vet people by, do you have as much to lose as I do? Do you have as much to bring to the table as I do?
Come on.
I use discernment on whether or not, if God has placed me in your life, because someone might not have what you have, but you got to also see what someone's heart is, and know if God has placed you in a space to where you're supposed to be there to help them, or whether these people are just out to get what they can get, and they just want the clout, they want what it looks like on social media, and that's all they care about. And so I know how to no. So, it took some learning though. I've had some mishaps. But
I can understand the level of wisdom that you're speaking from right there is from pure experience. There is no book that you can just read and just say, oh, I got it now. That is from experiencing people, disappointments, trial and error a little bit, and that's what really life is. I'm excited to hear you say that, because you really spoke on something so heavy about relationships. People really downplay what a relationship is, and especially in this season where we're like, people are passing away unexpectedly. You got to have some connections that mean something to your life, and the little pity pat conversations with people people who just want to hang out with you and want to show up on red carpets and want to do certain things with you because you're going places and they can see you rising in some certain way.
Yeah.
Honestly, if a person isn't willing to help you put your wagon together, you don't need to be on your wagon. That's the
Exactly.
reality. Is that people aren't
Exactly.
always willing to do the work to be in your
Exactly.
life.
Exactly. I mean, I have very few like new friends. Like
Yes.
and the people that I've picked up along the way, they've proven themselves. They've been
Mm.
there for me more. And you talked about people passing away. Like I'm a very I'm a very loving person to the people that are in my life because my mom died when I was 11. Like in my high school, like I had a cousin died at 18 from cancer. I had this girl that I'd known since she was in kindergarten. We were senior in our senior class,
Yeah.
and one day I came to school. Her boyfriend had shot her in the head. I have had so many close friends pass that I'm very intentional with letting people know that I love them. I was even, I think I made a post earlier this week, like, who in your life, if God said today was your last day, who would you call and make amends with? And I was like, just in case today should be the day you should call them.
Come on, you're talking, brother, because look, these petty things that normally separate us, they are just that, petty. Because at the end of the day, the reality is that one argument, if it's worth it, should
Yeah.
not be the determining factor to stop communicating with somebody in your life who you love. Even in my own relationship, I have to deal with this. I have to grow up sometime, talk about it, deal with it, hash it out. Like that's what you have to do because people are too important. There's one thing that I learned about relationships, man. Like relationships are not just average things. When people
Right.
come in your life, they are literal vehicles taking you in one direction or another. They are either helping you get further into who you're supposed to be, or they're driving you deeper into who you are, but who you're not, and leaving you in a stagnant space. So you
Yeah.
have people that will leave you neutral. They will
Yeah.
literally have you in neutral, and you will stay the same. You ever gone back home and see some of the same people doing the same things and wondering how 20 years later they could be the same person? But they
Yeah.
had people around them that kept them in neutral. It was like they kept them in Groundhog Day in their life. And so
Yeah.
you gotta have people that are willing to drive you ahead, that see more in you than who you are right now. So the person who's only talking about whooping is a problem because they should be talking about Oprah. You know, like they
Exactly.
should be seeing for you what's ahead of you and not
Yeah.
just what's in your car right now.
Agree. You're so good at this. Did you hear? And you're very good at this.
Oh,
I want to tell you that I've watched you do others. I've watched a lot of yours, and you're very good at this.
thank you, brother. Well, it's good to talk to. It's easy to talk to good people, and you definitely are that. I enjoy this though. I will tell you that, and that's one of the things. This is interesting because this space is the only reason I'm doing this. Uh,
Hmm.
and now I realize I actually like it. I actually, what you do, I was doing the Pathfinder guide pieces when I mentioned you on one of my things. I
Yeah.
like just pushing people ahead, right? Like I like promoting people and showcasing people who other people may not know. And this opportunity to actually dialogue and have discourse with people who have good hearts and good minds and are just trying to work out life like the rest of us. Look, we're all in the same boat. And it's beautiful to talk to people and realize that that is the truth. No matter how far somebody thinks they are ahead, the truth is at the core basics of life, we are really in the same place. You
Yeah.
know, I was watching one guy earlier, YouTube, and he was talking about people only really want two things in life, and that's love and money. And you need love. You realize you need love, but you have to have money to survive. So
Right.
if you could live without money, you could survive with just love. But people don't realize that, man. And so that's why I do the work I do because it's so necessary to have people on like you who understand that success is bigger than just the money. And
Yeah.
getting beyond the money. How has love been touching your life? I mean, let's dig a little bit. I won't go too deep, but dig a little bit about how love has really affected and impacted your everyday life.
Oh, You come up with these questions, boy. How has love affected my life? Well, right now it's just been a lot of self-love and working through a lot of I guess you could say it's affecting me every day because it's a lot of me speaking to myself
That's good.
against a lot of things that I think about myself, you know what I'm saying? Or have been influenced to think about myself. You know, I look in the mirror and I have conversations and I talk to myself and I tell myself, you're smart,
Yes.
you're successful. I speak to myself those things because I do realize if we're made in God's image, we have creative power. So what you speak, you have. So I'm very big on that. So and so I've just been trying to really like get in a space where I'm loving me and I'm loving other people, but I'm doing it in a way where I'm giving them room to be people.
Yes.
I don't think we give people room to be people.
Clap on that.
It's like it's humanity. So people come with mistakes and people come with different points of view and all of that stuff. And so what I find myself having to do is, especially when it's something that counteracts how I feel or how I see things, I then try to then go back into my closet and look at me and say, okay, now, because I'm always making sure that I want to be that person that's fair, and is at least trying to give that other person room to speak their piece and hear them. You know what I'm saying? I want to hear them. I don't want to just be looking for the I got you. And I have a friend that I love so dearly. We lately have been having conversations, heavy conversations. And I realized in our conversations, he thinks that I am trying to do the gotcha. Like I'm waiting for him to say something that I can say, but see, but I honestly and genuinely am not, because I realize that's what life has become right now. You know, with politics and everything else, everybody wants to be that I got you person. And I don't want to be that. That doesn't benefit me
at all.
You know what I'm saying? So I really want to, I'm in a space where I'm trying to love people, to listen to them, listen to their hearts. Even though they're saying one thing, listening to what it is that they're saying is what is it that they really need. You know what I'm saying? People say one thing, but what they need is something else. So I'm trying to also be in that space as well.
Well, I think you hit something, and this is something that I've been stressing recently. I was praying so hard, and I heard this, that the universe doesn't attract and doesn't bring you what you really speak. It really brings you what you're feeling and what you're emoting. It brings you your energy. It brings your energy back. You know, so aligned with your words and your affirmations, because I have a whole book on affirmations. If your heart is not aligned with the words you're speaking, the universe will send you still what your heart is sending out. So that is why it's important to have that positive energy towards something. Be thinking positive thoughts. Be sending out positive energy in conversations towards people. This is why you have to let go of unforgiveness. You have to let go of anger. You have to let go of malice. You know, even in our Black Lives Matters movement, we have to let go some of the rage that we have, even while we're trying to get change, because love brings love. Love begets more love. Martin Luther King would talk about, Junior would talk about that all the time. Love begets love. You can't get love out of hate. And so it's the same principle. You will never find love by speaking, I can't find love, right? You can't find love saying, I can't find love. You can't find the date saying, there's nobody out here that's good for me. You have to put the energy out that you want, and that's that positive energy. So you going into those conversations and having kind of positivity and good energy in that space, that's why you keep attracting those good things in your life.
Well, I mean, you did step on my feet a little bit. I don't know how all the way in Atlanta you came over here and stepped on a toe or two.
What did I say? You know, I just get caught up sometimes. What did I say?
Well, no, because sometimes I do say, you know, love is probably not coming this good here way, but it's
Okay.
fine. You
No,
know.
that's not fine. Let's stop that right now. So
Uh-oh,
you know what?
uh-oh,
I
uh-oh,
felt
stop.
this. No, I felt this. This was on my heart this morning, and I was wondering why. And I really sat and processed that.
Uh,
Um, because when you are feeling, think about this. Um, you get an opportunity. What you're saying right there is, I have this condition that I am believing that this is something that I cannot receive. I probably won't have it. I probably won't have it. It probably won't come my way. It probably won't happen in my lifetime. I probably will be single all of my life. I probably will never encounter the one that changes my life. And so what are you manifesting? You are manifesting and attracting emptiness.
you
You are
right.
attracting emptiness into your life. So what I say, whatever you're putting out, you receive. It is that universal of a law. The law of love. They talk about the law of attraction. It's really I say the law of love, because the love that you put out, if it's barren love, you will get barren love back. If you send out a full ship of love, it has to come back with cargo.
Well, wait a minute. Let's go back to what you just said on barren love. What is barren love?
Barren
Break that
love
down. That was
is the
good.
love. So think about this. Yeah, that will preach a little bit. So, barren love is a love that you put into something. You say, "I will try this, but I don't believe it's going anywhere. I will attempt this, but I will attempt this, but I know it probably won't lead to anything substantial. I'll go on this date, but I know I'll give it 2 weeks, and I'm sure we'll be at our hello,
Yeah,
hello.
you're right.
All right, that is barren love. It's the
Okay. Well, I
it
am
has a
full of
love
barren love.
shell, but it's empty. It has a love shell, but it's empty. Right?
You're right.
All right. So it's like empty words. It has all of that. So you have to put out, okay, here's what you put out to attract it, even though you're a little skeptical and even though you're doubtful sometimes. This is what you say. The logical thing. Let me start with logic, because sometimes people are like, it's not possible. So let me give you logic. Logic is, there is love in the world. In fact, everywhere I look, there's love. Love is all around me. Love is something I've seen other people find. Other people are no better than me. I should too be able to find love. In fact, I know I can because I've seen it.
Right.
If I've seen it, I have to ask myself, what am I doing that is causing this love to not attract to me the way it attracted to them? And once I find that thing, I will uproot it from my vocabulary, from my energy. I will speak the thoughts that these people are speaking. In fact, I will start speaking love thoughts into my life now. I will not need the condition of a person present, a physical person, in order to start feeling the love that I want to feel from the person. Why? Because I will start practicing the feeling so that when they walk into my life, I already am familiar with the feeling. And so it is not foreign to me. It's not a surprise to me. It simply aligns with what I know I deserve because I've been giving it to myself.
Listen. Listen. You talking good. You talking real good.
It's a small check. Look,
I feel like not talking back. My shoe fell off.
it is
Okay.
such a small change, but when you do it, when you stop giving there are no good fill in the blank, when you stop giving people aren't fill in the blank, when you start saying it can't fill in the blank, when you stop doing that and you start saying, I deserve love, I attract love, I receive love. See, what we do is think about, let me put it this way. Here's another way. Let's talk about the other thing that people really like, and that's money, right? All right.
Right.
Imagine this. No, easier example. Easier scratch it. Let's do degrees. So imagine you start a 4-year degree You don't have your degree yet when you first started your first class, right?
Right.
But you knew a degree was coming if you got through your class. Right. But
Right.
did you every day in each class sit there and say, I don't have a degree yet. I don't have a degree yet. Oh Lord, I don't have the degree. When is the degree gonna come, Lord? When am I gonna get the degree?
Some people do.
Some people do, but guess what?
I
Those
didn't
are
go to college,
miserable
so I didn't
people.
have that problem.
Those are miserable people. The people look, you have two people in the same situation. One's
Right.
going to complaining, and one person's going through each day, making the best out of each day, happy about the fact that they know that the degree is coming, excited that the degree's on the way. And when they get it, they know they deserved it because they've worked for it. Van Zant worked for it. They've touched into who they are and who they deserve. They know they deserve it. So
Right.
you have the person complaining the whole way, and you have the person saying, "I deserve this. I'm working on this. I attracted this because I went through the motions of this." Both may get there, but one walks into it with a level of peace and satisfaction because they weren't anxious, worried, fearful, depressed the whole way. Same thing in love. Here's what you got to believe. You got to believe there's a degree of love on the other side of this. Whatever timeline that is, you don't know. But all you know is that you deserve it. You're putting in self-love work. You're doing the homework. It's yours.
Well, I hear you.
Okay, what does it make you feel? Come on, talk to me.
No, it's just I don't know. Everything you said is very true and very correct. I feel like I put that out though. I just haven't seen it though. Doesn't mean I don't think it's coming. Well,
Yeah.
I probably, you know what, I'm lying. I probably don't think it's coming. Because you know what? I have been one of those people. My issue has been I have been by myself all my life. From like when my mom died, from 14, even though my uncle lived with me for a short period, and at 14 years old,
Yeah.
that's when I like had been on my own, you know? And so I've always had to look out for me. And there are times that I have this expectation from family members that I thought was like, okay, then they let me down. So then later on in life, I come and I meet people and I'm like, and then, you know, they then, you know, start to let me down in terms. And so after a while, I'm probably a little tired and drained. So I really, to be honest, I probably don't look or
Yeah.
that expectation. I have probably settled into learning how to just be happy with me. And that's probably why I go so hard on my personal self, I'm in the morning and I'm like listening to preach. I'm trying to build me because that feels like, I've only felt like I've connected with Beyonce one time, and that was when she came up with Me, Myself, and I.
Me too, brother.
You know, that's who I feel like. There are people I feel like that are there for me, and I love them and all of that. But I'm just so used to in the end, when the rubber meets the road, bro, I feel like, yo, it's me, you know. So, and yeah, so.
Well, I can tell you, brother, thank you for sharing that because I know you're helping somebody right now. That is real. A lot of people are in that situation, even people in relationships. Let's just be honest. There are people even in relationships who are in that space, and that's why their relationships are a little flustered right now. The space you're in is a self-defense mechanism. It's something that kicks in as a part of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that need for security. It is natural to us, but it's also something that yourself, your inner being is trying to protect you. It's trying to keep you. It's also trying to guide you, though. I think what we do is we put a magnifying glass on what that energy is telling us. Hey, protect yourself, make wise decisions. We put a magnifying glass and make it bigger than it's supposed to be. We take an umbrella and make it a whole force field. Like it's supposed to, you might get a little wet with the umbrella, just a little bit, but you got to put yourself out there. And many of us don't want to be exposed to the elements of relationships at all for the fear of it touching us in a negative way. Part of love, though, is vulnerability. Think about the physical heart, right? You would think that the heart would have tougher skin than what it has. You would think that something that keeps all of our systems moving would be better protected in many ways than it is. But it's not. And I think the physical aspect of that speaks so much to the emotional and spiritual aspect of our heart. Because there's a part of vulnerability that if you shut off your heart from people, a heart that is closed cannot process newness. New blood can't come into a closed heart.
Okay.
New energy can't come into a closed heart. New experiences can't come into a closed heart. New people can't come into a closed heart. And so you're saying that you're waiting on somebody to come into your life. And I'm saying you might have actually already encountered them. And because you got a closed heart, a new experience is also closed from you. I love the quote by Nassim that says, we don't see the world as it is, we see it as we are. And so you will see people as you are, not as they are. And so even though you have that level of discernment about some people, the person who you may need to let in, you may actually be blocking because of fear. Because of fear of that unknown moment of vulnerability.
I don't know though. I feel like now I go through and I weed out what is obvious. I'm not that person that I'm gonna engage when I know that there are some major red flags. And the times that I have even let's listen to them. You know what I'm saying? Let's hear them out. It ends up being that situation every time. So I just feel like.
So what does that say? What does it say when you encounter the same situation or same type of person over and over again? What it says is that you, because it always goes back to you. It's not them, it's you. All right? Who? It's you. It's always you, y'all. It's always you. It's always you. And everything that you are attracting is you. It is a reflection of you. You understand that people are a mirror of our experience, of what we are attracting into our life. And so it could be that there is a tweak that you need to make in your thinking. Because the people that are being attracted for whatever reason, it's like, think about this. If you drive through Beverly Hills, you're going to see a certain type of car or certain types of cars, right? You drive through the hood, you're going to see another type of car. Now, you gotta really question yourself when you in the hood and wondering why you're not seeing Maybachs. You really got to question your mind. You be like, I'm in this hood and I don't ever see a Maybach. Like, what's going on? I never see a Ferrari. What is wrong with me? Why am I not attracting Ferraris?
You trying to say I'm not a Ferrari?
I am not saying mentally, your position mentally is what will attract physically.
Oh, okay.
Your mental will attract your physical. Your emotional will attract your physical. And You literally could be a Ferrari stuck in the hood. So that means you're in the wrong place to find what is good to match you. But then, so you gotta take yourself to the environment mentally, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally to the space that you want to attract. What does that mean in like layman's terms? It simply means if you want love that is real, that is transparent, that is honest, that is pure, you have to start thinking in more honest, pure ways. You got to start feeling this person, not this person is probably about to mess up. Like you can't think that. You have to be thinking this person. I'm sure there's so much good in them. I can feel it. Something about them is aligning with me, and I'm aligning with them, and there's a reason. So I'm going to give them a chance. I'm believing this. I'm believing for this, and keep pushing that positivity because love is out there. Love
Okay, so
attracts.
how do you rebel when they go left? How do you rebound from that part? So
Absolutely.
you go in, you're in that mind frame.
Yeah.
What do you do after that?
Can I say that most of the pain you feel about what they did has nothing to do with what they did. I'm gonna say that and I'm explaining. I'm gonna say it again though. Most of what you feel about what they did has nothing to do with what they did. You know what it has to do with?
What it got to do with?
Your pride. Here's why I say that. Think about anytime you've been hurt, right? Anytime you've been hurt by anybody in any situation, if you were really offended, if you were really hurt, 9 times out of 10, it was because you felt like you were disrespected. That is you feeling you. Really what you have to do. Because think about this. Me being offended, somebody else beside me, the same thing could happen to them, and they wouldn't be offended. They would be like, thank you for showing me yourself. I appreciate that. Lesson learned, moving on.
That's how I am. I am.
But you get offended though. You just said you get offended. The
No,
repower.
I said, what do you do when they actually show up in those forms where it's like, okay, they're not what I am a person, I then process.
Yeah.
I process. So I say, you know what? I realize this won't work. But I don't get angry. I don't get offended because I just have learned to just move on. I am sometimes hurt because I had hopes
Right.
that, oh, this is someone dope. But
You ever heard
no,
somebody say, why God when somebody passes? You know, why God?
I don't do that. I've
No,
heard people say that.
you may not, but when people do that, there's this notion. My parents taught me well early on. You know, if when we would plan something, my mom would always say, if the Lord is willing, you know,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
there would be this thought like, I'll make this plan, but if something happens, I can't determine the something in life that happens that's outside of my control. All
Right.
I can plan for is what I know I'm intending to have happen. It's the same thought with when you're talking to people. You give them 100, you expect the same in return. If the Lord is willing, and that person does whatever they do that takes them out of the running for being something more in your life, then that was the Lord's will. And that is
Right.
what it is, right? But you disassociate. I'm not saying you don't feel any pain because I know we're human and we feel. But I am saying that in the rebound, you should get to such a place emotionally that you separate your what they did with what you did. Because what you did was try. And that's all that God is requiring. So when the next person comes, you can't be jaded because of what someone else did.
No, I try not to do that.
Good.
I try not to do that.
Try.
I make a mental note to not do that.
Okay. So let's go back to what you said earlier about when you speak out loud certain things like the negative things.
Right.
So where does that come in?
Because I'm old. I'm old, and so I'm gonna quit saying that. I am mature,
Yeah.
and so going through life maturely, I find it sort of I don't know. After a while, it's like you looking at everybody else, and everybody else doing it, got it, had it, experienced it, and then you're like, where did my life? What turn did I not take? What did I not do? You know. So that's where that comes from. It just comes from seeing other people have it and seeing it in beautiful ways.
So let me ask you this, because I saw an interview that you did with a young brother. I believe he's also in New York. I want to say,
Morel.
yes, thank you. You did an interview with him, a fellow stylist as well,
Makeup
hairstylist,
artist.
makeup artist as well.
Mm-hmm.
And when you interviewed him, there was this commonality that you all had.
Right.
You've had very different journeys,
Yes.
very different paths, and yet you were able to see him without saying, hey, I want to be on whatever other, right? Like there's other people in your life who you see who are further along, maybe if you're trying to compare yourself. And professionally, what we do is giving people the grace in our professional lives to be ahead of us. And we will say, well, they worked for this and they worked for that, right?
Right.
Okay. Love has to be thought of the same way. Because you think about, okay, well, they put it
Right. But can I just say this as a commercial break?
Yeah, commercial break. Go ahead, commercial break, brother.
When you get 42 years old, like that's you okay, you and someone on here says stop comparing. I'm not necessarily
Yeah.
comparing. What I'm doing is I'm noticing. I'm paying attention. And so as each year passes, I'm like, oh, okay, another year. And there is nobody is here. So
let me tell you something though. Everybody can buy a year-old bottle of wine. Everybody.
right.
Everybody can buy a year-old bottle of wine. Anybody can get. You can buy that at Publix, at Kroger. They line the shelves. The older a bottle of wine gets, the more exclusive it becomes. And the more exclusive the type of people that will be able to purchase that bottle will become. There will be fewer people, fewer options. But guess what?
I
It
received.
means that your target audience or your target market is also smaller and more detailed. Here's what I want you to do. I need you to start doing some love research on your life right now. You got to start figuring out, because what you may have been doing is promoting your love energy to the masses. This is time to narrow down your target audience of who you really want in your life. What type of person is attracted to a Derick Monroe? What type, like literally, your homework today
That was good.
is to
I
listen.
like that
I'm
one.
telling you, brother, get you a piece of
Who
paper.
was attracted to Derick
What
Monroe?
type of person is attracted to a Derick Monroe? I'm not talking about the 1 year Derick Monroe or the 2 year. I'm talking about the 42-year Derick Monroe. This aged version that has more flavor and more experience and more wisdom. Who is attracted to that? Because I promise you, it's not the little young 25-year-old. I'm sure you can wipe that market off. I'm sure it's a certain type of professional, a certain type of spiritually grounded person who is after not just your celebrity or your accomplishments or your achievements, but is after a sincere relationship that wants community, that wants to build and invest in something. Who is the person that is attracted to the you that you are now and the who that you may become in your future? That is a very specific subset. And when you start doing that, then you don't have to waste a lot of energy on the people who don't even fit it. I use this like marketing because it's the same energy that you have to give. You have to know your market.
True.
There is a group. There is a group that is for you. There is a place that is for you. There is a person that is for you. You will attract it when you know what bait to use. See, every bait isn't used on every fish. Every bait isn't used on every fish. And so you got to understand what's going to attract the level, listen, the level that you are. What
That's
would
good.
Derick Monroe? What would attract? That's what you're going to have to do to attract what is going to be attracted to a Derick Monroe.
Right.
So assess your bait and check and see what qualifications really match your bait. And there you go. I didn't mean to rhyme, but I feel like Dr. Seuss right there.
Listen, it worked. It was here. I'm here for it. You made me drink a whole lot of water.
I am here for it, brother. Look, this is what we do on the heart. This is why this is so important. These talks are important. These conversations are important. I want to say this to everybody listening and to you, my brother. In all of our lives, we are taught in education that on your job you need training. You need training for anything you do. Anything you do. And yet when it comes to love, we act like we just going to go out there and figure it out without any training at all. Look, I encourage the same way that you come to me when you have thoughts or questions, and I love it. This is what you have to do. You have to find you some spaces and some sources where you can really get under somebody that can help you walk out this love thing. In your career, you may find a mentor. You'll go to school and find a teacher. You will join a mastermind program if you're starting a business. You will get certifications and all these things to become a better version in your professional life. But when it comes to love, no more. We're ending that. We are creating this culture where we can talk and we can have mentorship and we can say, you know what, I'm clearly not doing something
right.
That's okay.
And I'm clearly, listen, I am clearly not doing something right.
Your transparency is helping somebody because there is no guide to this. There is no book that says, this is how you treat somebody. This is what you do when you rebound. There is no book that we walk into life with that. And I just want to encourage you and to everybody listening, because it's so important that you seek help. You get a relationship coach, a dating coach, a marriage counselor, find a therapist, get somebody somewhere, and it's important. It's key, man. You subjected yourself to this today.
Oh, let me tell you, I was scared. I've been nervous about this all day. Scared.
It's what, but I get it. Because I do this so much, I make sure to have that empathy and that compassion when people come on, because I understand talking about love, especially as men, is not something we are accustomed to doing on a daily basis.
Right.
And when we talk about it, it's normally in a negative way. And when we talk about it, it's normally with skepticism. And when we talk about love, it's normally venting to a friend over brunch about what another person did to hurt us. And so these kind of conversations where you can have somebody speak life into you, speak hope back into your love life, speak hope back into your mind, speak peace into your heart, where you have somebody give you that little shock to say, think about it. It's possible.
Right.
We're doing on the heart. So I appreciate you, brother. You have always impressed me. You keep impressing me, and I know you deserve love. I know you want to love and be loved, and you will get it. You will get it.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, brother.
I am gonna have it. See?
You're gonna write your list, right?
I am gonna write my list, and I'm going. I ain't got nothing else to do. No way, ain't got no job. So I might as well.
Look, you're
Might
gonna
as
come out of
well.
quarantine with a cold quarantine bay. Look at you.
Listen,
Come on.
listen,
Because you're gonna be like,
listen.
you know what? Wait a minute. It was obvious all along.
All along. I don't know how obvious it was, but
It's different when you take off the negative glasses. When you take off, excuse me, when you take off the shades that are
Mhm.
holding you back and filtering out the true rays of love, when you take those off and you see clear, it can be a little blinding at first, but the truth is that it's better to see love as it is than to not really see it at all.
True.
Yeah. So
Agreed.
I love it. Come on, somebody said whenever you're ready. You know what? I'm gonna start doing a whole matchmaking thing on the heart. We're gonna start getting people hooked up.
Praises, G.
Wherever, however, hey, yes, Lord. Well, thank you again, brother. And
No problem.
I'll tell everybody where they can find you and follow your journey because I feel like we're gonna see some love transition soon.
Oh yes. They can find me right on here. They can tap at the top, Derick Monroe. You can go to my Instagram. My YouTube page, which is also Derick Monroe, and look at my interviews and all of that stuff.
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna get you a copy of my book, Successful Love.
Thank you.
Yes, I want to make sure you find it. You're getting what you need. Everybody else, Successful Love at ByronJamal.com. New book out to help you find love. Look, I love you, brother. Thank you
I
so
love
much
you
again.
too.
You
You
can,
too.
we'll talk after this, all right?
We will. We will. All right.
Peace and blessings, my man. You take care.
You too.
All right.